You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
We're going to be talking to Peter Apps, a local writer, and we're going to be talking all about his latest book, and I think he's going to be telling you also it's a great time to be talking about it, as there's been some recent events that kind of fit in with it, so it should be an interesting interview this evening. But firstly, Peter, it's always good to have you here at the Monday Night Community Show.
Thank you.
So I was wondering, firstly, if you could give us perhaps a little bit of an introduction, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm not sure what to say, really. I've lived on the Isle of Sheppey all my life. I'm quite happy here. Nowadays I belong to the Sheppey and Sittingbourne Writers Group, and for the last few years I've been quite happily writing away. Next book coming out, Deja to the Nth, it's my third book, and after that I've still got a couple more on their way, so, as I say, I'm keeping fairly busy.
So can you tell us a little bit about the theme of your book and how it does fit into those recent events?
Well, it's about the meteors that hit Russia. Now, they hit Earth all the time, but usually they're either too small or somewhere so remote nobody notices. The ones that hit Russia were unusual. It was a little bit bigger than usual, and of course it was over a city, and there was a hell of a lot of filming. So it got worldwide attention.
I was going to say, it's not often you get to see footage, so it was quite interesting.
Oh yes, I think it's unique. There's been sort of shots of meteors shooting across the sky, but not the complete one hitting the atmosphere, exploding, and the damage that it did. As I say, I think that is a fairly unique event. And
that's fitting in with your book.
Oh yes, it's about an asteroid heading for the Earth, likely to wipe out all life. Meteors and asteroids are much the same thing, by the way. Meteors are simply smaller versions of the asteroids, but otherwise the two words are interchangeable.
So did you have to do a lot of research into that, or was it something you already had an interest in?
I've always been interested in astronomy, and I like my books to be accurate, but I don't like to go into too much detail. The idea of a meteor or an asteroid hits the Earth, that's fairly factual, and it does happen. Obviously, I'm stretching the event slightly for my book to make a story out of it. And of course, being a story, the thing gets diverted. Apart from that, yes, it is fairly accurate.
I know you wanted to talk a little bit more about what happened.
Yeah, well, stories and fiction are very often about coincidences. Sometimes they don't seem to pan out so well in real life. But this one, astronomers had seen an asteroid approaching. It was a large one, and had it hit, the damage would have been devastating. But it was doing a close flyby, and they were still keeping an eye on it. The meteor that actually hit was a complete and utter fluke. It came in out of the sun, so nobody could see it, and it had struck before anybody knew it was there. And they were two completely isolated incidents. For me, the third coincidence is I happened to be writing a story about the thing at the same time, so for me it was a triple coincidence.
So, Peter, when are you going to be releasing the book?
At the moment it's set for the 1st of June. I'm arranging a couple of events for around about that time. I haven't sorted out the details yet, but it'll be somewhere or something where any readers who are interested can come along, meet not only myself but other authors on the island, and get the first copies. Are
there any similarities between your book and what actually happened in Russia?
Well, as I say, I think the main thing about that was it was such a complete surprise. We hear a lot about NASA astronomers all looking out for these asteroids and meteors, and I think it came as a nasty shock to everyone that it slipped in under the radar. And I think really that is more than the damage it did, I think it was a shock it caused in the scientific community more than anything. So far as similarities are concerned, as I said, this meteor, it came in out of the sun, very much like fighter pilots used to use, diving in onto the target straight out of the sun, so they were invisible. My book, I wouldn't say it's so much a fighter as a bomber. It was designed to be a weapon of war, but it was attacking Earth. So, as I say, similar in the fact that it was unexpected, similar that it would cause a hell of a lot of alarm if it actually did hit, but I think my story does go in a different direction.
So, what is the twist to the book then, Peter?
If you read lots of science fiction, then the real villain of the piece seems to be a bug-eyed monster intent on taking over the Earth. I tend to think that's old hat nowadays. It's been done too many times. My main antagonist isn't actually the guy next door, but he's someone who's popped up in the previous books, causing a little bit of trouble. But this time he finds a way of causing real trouble.
Peter, how can people get your book?
Well, it's not printed yet, so I'm jumping the gun a little bit by being here. But it can be reserved on Amazon, and later on it'll also be out as an e-book, and you'll be able to buy it on Kindle, Nook, or anywhere else. But at the moment, as I say, if you really want a copy of a paper book, have a look on Amazon.
Now, before you go, I was just wondering if you can refresh our listeners on the title of your latest book, and of course give out any of those useful contact details.
Yeah. Well, the name of the book is Deja Vu to the Nth. You can find details on my website, which is sjtales.co.uk. And you can also contact me by email at peter@sjtales.co.uk.
Peter, as always, it's good to have you here, so thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to talk to you about your latest book.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
That's Peter Apps right here at BRFM 95.6 this evening.